Now I'll ask your attention for the statement of the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Trinidad, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Excellency, Honourable Ministers, Prime Ministers, heads, other members of delegations who are here, members of the Caricom family. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to make a very brief statement, because I do understand that time is against us. And first, let me express our pleasure at being here in Suriname, our first visit to Suriname, and thank you and the people of Suriname for your hospitality. I take a brief moment to congratulate the new President of Ghana, His Excellency Mr. Donald Ramota. For us, it is an opportunity to continue the good relations we've had in the CARICOM with Ghana and our cooperation there. And I'm sure, Chairman, you would understand. And let me thank you very much for these very beautiful flowers on International Women's Day. Very beautiful, and we thank you for it. But I know you would understand that I cannot conceal my unbounded satisfaction to be joined here by another woman head of government amongst all you distinguished gentlemen, and I therefore rejoice with you in extending a very special warm welcome to newly elected Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Right Honourable Portia Simpson Miller. Honourable Prime Minister, through you, Mr. Chairman, the outstanding victory at the December 29 polls was an astonishing feat. I see you not only as the head of government of Jamaica, but as a sister in partnering our efforts at enhancing the conditions of life of our people in the Caribbean community. And I do believe Ambassador Carton has confirmed for me that this is the very first time in the history of the CARICOM that there are two women sitting at the table together with our brothers. And indeed, as we both spoke, I said this is a forerunner of more to come, and it could not have come on a more auspicious day as today, International Women's Day. Madam, we thank you very much for being with us here today. Mr. Chairman, nothing I've said so far should take away or diminish from the fact that we extend very warm and friendly greetings to another new head, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Dr. the Honourable Kenny Anthony, and I'm very happy to sit with him at the table. I used to be a student once upon a time. I learned quite a lot from him at the law faculty, and I'm very happy to sit with him at the table and to congratulate him. We had the honor in Trinidad and Tobago on the occasion of the Caribbean China Summit, December 2011, to welcome Prime Minister, Caribbean Cuba Summit. Honourable Prime Minister Anthony, we look forward to your great contribution. We know full well your experience and technical knowledge of our regional arrangements. Mr. Chairman, I know we do not indulge in too many formal speeches. On this occasion, however, there is, in my respectful view, the need to comment on certain matters which I think can help to strengthen our integration process, to give hope to our future cooperation efforts. And so I thank you for this kind courtesy to allow me to speak today. Crisis, the headlines are screaming, Mr. Chairman. Crisis screams the headlines. It's official, says the experts. And maybe we would be thinking they are speaking of the European Union, where the word crisis seems to be stalking that place as well. In the view of the consultants, CARICOM seems to be no less in the throes of a crisis. It was the sensing of that danger which moved us to decide to mandate an urgent review of the Secretariat of the community on the occasion of our last meeting in St. Kitts and Nevis. In pursuance of that decision, a study entitled Turning Around the CARICOM was undertaken by the firm of consultants. And that study finds that CARICOM is in crisis for three reasons. One, long-standing frustrations with its slow progress continue to mount. Secondly, a serious weakening in its structure and operation over a number of years. And thirdly, continuing economic retrenchment since 2008 financial crisis and the risk of a further downturn in 2012. The crisis is seen as being sufficiently severe to put the CARICOM's very existence in question. And those are words that I quote. And what has caused this situation? The consultants saw us responsible to follow, and I quote, "Many of the CARICOM member states are highly indebted, and a further global downturn would render them incapable of meeting their financial obligations to CARICOM. The CARICOM Secretariat and other CARICOM institutions are not strong enough to cope with any major shortfall in funding," end of quote. And it is notable, if I may say so, that the Secretariat's budget was fixed from 2008 to 2010 and was even reduced in 2011. This situation is in some ways linked to the crisis in the EU, as the EU has long been one of our donor partners. The consultants are of the view that despite the current difficulties, CARICOM can surmount the crisis and eventually prosper as long as fundamental changes in its operations and structure are made, and made decisively and speedily. And the Secretary General did speak of changes in the air, and so we welcome that commitment to seeing the changes that are necessary to take us out from the tailspin we may appear to be in. They suggest that we can surmount this crisis and call for the full and unequivocal support of member states. Secondly, targeting the delivery of a narrow range of specific practical and achievable benefits over a reasonably short time horizon. And thirdly, a credible reorganization and strengthening of the CARICOM construct, including the Secretariat and CARICOM institutions, focus on the management of implementation. These conditions are not considered by the consultant as being unachievable, as member states are seen as maintaining, and I quote, "serious commitment to regionalism in principle." And I have seen that there has been a call for Trinidad and Tobago in this regard, and I want to reiterate our commitment and our position that we are committed, seriously committed to regionalism, to the CARICOM. This is a position to which my government fully subscribes and which I publicly expressed on the occasion of our meeting in St. Kitts last year in July. Today I want to reiterate it in the following self-same words, and I repeat my words from St. Kitts. Let me at the outset categorically re-indicate that Trinidad and Tobago is for CARICOM and for regional integration. Let me also indicate that Trinidad and Tobago understands its role in CARICOM and its responsibility to the region and is committed to cooperation. Honourable Chairman, we repeat that commitment to CARICOM today. And for those who may have questioned the commitment of Trinidad and Tobago, I reiterate and repeat, we are committed to the regional institution, to CARICOM, and to regionalism. I am therefore comforted to learn that in the view of the consultants, one of the conditions necessary for CARICOM to prosper is, and I quote, "the full and unequivocal support of member states," end of quote. I am sure we would all wish to leave here so convinced regarding each member state, and so be able to convey that assurance to the entire CARICOM population. But indeed, I think we well appreciate that such assurances will only be worthwhile if they are reinforced by the purposeful actions we pursue individually and collectively. We in Trinidad and Tobago therefore wish to outline very briefly just 3 or 4 initiatives we have taken since we last met in keeping with our commitment to the Caribbean community. At our last meeting, I made a general statement that I was of the view that CARICOM has made substantial progress. On that occasion, I referred to the achievement of a working free trade regime which benefits us all. This regime, in relation to the trading of goods, makes special arrangements to benefit the less developed member states of our community. But more such benefits need to be assured, and every effort to rebalance trade relations must be actively pursued. A very significant part of this must come from the full implementation of the single market, especially as it deals with trade in services, movement of capital, and in particular free movement of skilled persons among the member states of the community. To fail to fully implement this last feature of our arrangement is to deny one of the most important benefits promised in our integration arrangement. And Mr. Chairman, if I may permit me to congratulate Suriname on being the first to launch the mechanism of a CARICOM passport, an instrument designed to facilitate the movement of our country. Sir, we congratulate you as leading the way as we are here in this meeting with you today. Many of the bodies we've talked about much of the various bodies of the CARICOM, that we have established the Caribbean Competition Commission, the 3 Cs, itself headquartered here in Suriname, the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center, 5 Cs, the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality, the Caribbean Aviation Safety and Security Oversight System, the Caribbean Center for Development Administration, and CARICOM Development Fund. These are all examples of organizations within the larger CARICOM. These are among the institutions of the CARICOM project, which undoubtedly will be looked at as the process of review of CARICOM continues. Trinidad and Tobago is full and active participant in all of these important institutions. And if I may say, we are a financial contributor of these efforts. It is against that background that we committed and are in the process of establishing the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CAFA, and the government of Trinidad and Tobago is spearheading the construction of the facilities of CAFA in Trinidad. As you recall, we signed the relevant instrument of establishment during our meeting in St. Kitts last year, and we in Trinidad and Tobago are proceeding to discharge our part, our function in that initiative. I believe that Prime Minister Douglas would be able to give us further details on this matter. Another regional initiative to which we gave a commitment relates to fast ferry within the Southern Caribbean. If I may now advise respectfully that that matter is at the stage where it is nearing commencement of service. Indeed, we have put out a request for proposals, following approval of Cabinet, requests for proposals, and those are being evaluated. We will further update on this matter. That matter of intra-regional transport to facilitate further trade and people interface needs to be strengthened. It is my expectation that Caribbean Airlines will have closer collaboration in conjunction with Jamaica, and the increased flights to the Eastern Caribbean are steps to take us in this direction. The other 2 elements for regional development initiative relating to agriculture and energy. One I've asked to be agendaed, which is the Brazilian offer of the mother farm, very much on our agenda, and we have offered and will be willing to consult with our peers, our colleagues, consultations with Antigua and Barbuda and Guyana for us to take that initiative forward. As regards the vital subject of energy, in particular the issue of a gas line from Trinidad and Tobago up the Eastern Caribbean, at the request of Barbados, our latest advice is a linkage with Barbados seems the most feasible at this time. More work is necessary to deal with certain undersea volcanic formations which call for further study and analysis to facilitate extension to other Eastern Caribbean countries. But I'm very happy, sir, to report that Cabinet has approved the gas line from Trinidad and Tobago to Barbados at the request of Barbados, starting certainly with Barbados first of all, and then forth to other parts of the Eastern Caribbean. Since our last meeting, we hosted, together with other CARICOM member states, the CARICOM Cuba Summit, the China Caribbean Economic and Trade Cooperation Forum, and the CARICOM Japan Joint Economic Mission. And so these are some of the initiatives that I felt it important for us to report on. And may I also say that we were very happy with the discussions which took place in Grenada at the 7th UK Caribbean Forum and the outcomes therefrom, excepting of course one which we are all very concerned with still, the air passenger duty, which remains a burden to many of our nationals and residents who reside in the US, in the UK. CMAC, as you know, through the Commonwealth, Trinidad and Tobago has taken a lead role with the impasse in the Maldives, and my foreign minister was there to assist in that regard. Colleague heads, as you would realize, we have not been asleep on these matters that we undertook when we were last year's initiatives coming out of Trinidad and Tobago. Though we were faced with critical internal issues, we pursued the regional initiatives. We remain determined to pursue these matters to a successful conclusion, and we look forward to your participation and your support as we take the CARICOM agenda forward. As I say, we look forward to discussions on the proposals from the consultants and the turning around of our community, a process which in fact began with the retreat last May. CARICOM's present road may be rocky, For some, we may seem to be in crisis, but I think we can take a page out of the book of the EU, which has shown that the way out of such crisis is more integration, not less integration. And so I respectfully close and thank you very much. I trust that that is a lesson we can take away from our deliberations here. That is to say, more integration and not less integration. I thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and colleagues.